Now, okay, I'm going to take my seat. Did I say all protocol observed, please? All protocol observed, whilst we are looking at the time. Nchunga
Dumela, international interview.
I see. Thank you so much, and welcome to your book launch. Welcome to your book launch, and welcome to this very segment where we really want to hear more from yourself.
Thank you so much. For me, this day, I'm going to put it in my album. Just talking to you, I can leave there. I'm emotional.
I kind of like part of that. I kind of know part of the reason why you might be emotional. I've been thinking earlier that somebody, one of your daughters, who was a good friend of mine and a colleague at work, I believe, she would have been so happy to witness this wonderful moment. And she's one of the reasons why we at work, I was working at SU House, I was working there, and we got to really love Nchunga through her. And we got to love the band through her because she was part of the band. May her soul rest in peace. So now, let's get to understand the book.
Yes.
Why did you write the book? I think you have amazing knowledge. And I think a number of people also have this amazing knowledge on marriage, on other issues of life. I could write about being a young person in this time, but I haven't written. So why did you decide to write?
I think I have this disease which I call nation building. And that disease has cost me a lot. When other people dream about ice cream and big cars, I'm always dreaming about nation building. So I felt writing a book is one of the ways of giving your nation a gift which will not be taken away from them even after your departure. So it's my small contribution to nation building on this very, very important subject.
Definitely. Now, you being a lawyer, what really drives you? The speakers have already spoken, and the point has already said that being a lawyer, there's kind of like what we already think you might be like. Maybe we were thinking your first book might be on something legal on the legal front. So really, what really drives you? What is your vision also in life?
That's a very deep question. What drives me, and this has gotten me into trouble, is that I hear from God. So sometimes when I do things, I do things which I don't like, but just because I've heard Him, I have to obey. I've done many things which ordinarily as a gentleman I would not have done. I've sung songs which, as a very senior person, I wouldn't have chosen, but because I hear from God, I have to obey. And I like it. It has consequences, but my driving factor in life is that I hear from God and I have conversations with God.
Can we please give God a round of applause for that? Having people who are obedient is one of the rarest things ever. And for you to see that somebody is obedient, they'll do things that are unusual. They'll say things that are unusual, like our MC has already said. If you look at his statuses on WhatsApp, you wonder what is going through this man's mind. And that goes for the people who just instantly obey God. We really want to congratulate you.
Can I have a glass of water? Anybody who loves me?
All right, please, a glass of water, please, for our honorable host for the day. Marriage is a risk.
Yes, it is a risk. I told my wife before we got married.
Yes.
I told him, babe, this thing that we are starting, don't forget that marriage is a risk.
Absolutely.
How can you open it first? Thank you.
Protocol. Thank you so much. Allow me to moisturize my esophagus with H2O.
Well spoken as a lawyer.
Thank you.
Yes, I was just about to say marriage being a risk. Now, I'm not married. Nchunga, I'm not married. And when I saw this title, I said to myself, hey, and I said to myself, I remember one of my cousins, he's actually here, the Tamados have spoken to me about marriage and said, you are stubborn. So I learned that I'm stubborn. So I've been told that I need to get married to a stern man. So that being the case, and being a young person in this age, I sometimes say with my friends, relationshiping is a risk. Now, if relationshiping is a risk, and you say also that marriage is a risk, I want to hear from you. Why should I get married?
I think I can give you an answer which I got from this lady at the parking lot to Spa Kokasani. Somebody got the book and said to her, buy this book. And she looked at the title, marriage is a risk. And then she looked at the back cover. The very, very last sentence at the end, where it says about the book, she saw the words, it's a sweet risk about How can you scare us and say something is a risk? He has been married for 33 years. So he wants to deprive us from the enjoyment of marriage. I think let's look at it from two angles. Marriage is a risk. Buy the book, you will understand the risks. But on the other hand, don't forget that I'm a creative.
Yes.
It's not something which I pretend to. It's a gift from God. Now, when you are creative, even just your title will be extremely creative. Some people, the only reason they bought the book was because of the title. I say in that book that I have 142 books on marriage in my iPad. So why would you want to get another book? So because I'm a creative, you should. Hello. Slow. Hello. When I do it, now it's lower than that. You should appreciate that even before I write, the title of my book should show that this man is a creative. And I should come up with something which you've never seen before. It is just part of who I am. I am a creative. The title is extremely creative.
Extremely so.
It's to provoke you and is very catchy, to make you ask yourself questions and drive you to get the book, Reka Book.
I think I totally agree with you. Getting to see the title itself gets you to wonder. Nobody could actually write a title like this and lead you astray. And so I think it's one of those things that we should applaud you for, because it's going to drive many to come and read this book and ultimately also give their lives to Christ if they come across it having been unsaved. Thank God for that. Can we give God a round of applause? Now, I believe having to deal with the explanation of the title along the way has been one of the challenges that you have come across. Some of the people would be, trying to say, no, this is wrong, but from your angle, what have been the challenges all the way through? Coming to this point where we are now launching the book.
One, writing a book is not rosy. There are times when I could go 3 days for some inspiration. Some days I'll be fired up, some days I'm wondering, why did I come all this way to write and now I can't feel anything? So writing a book is quite a challenge, because it's just like pregnancy. You are giving birth, you are carrying this thing which you don't see. And there will be times when you feel like abortion. There will be times when you say, people have written books, people with big names, why am I writing this book? So you'll have those moments. And then there will be moments of excitement where you are really fired up. And then there will be moments where you'll feel like abandoning the project.
Between the time I started writing and today, 4 times I felt like, this thing. So when you are carrying a vision, know that there will be those moments where you are wondering, I'm not only did I hear God. I had God. But never despise the fact that you are carrying something. And what you are carrying is huge. And sometimes what you are carrying will not be very clear because you won't believe it. In the 32 years that I was a lawyer, I've had this recurring thing, Nchunga, people were seeing something, but that thing was not clear. Like when you look at my status, you can see that these are rumblings in my spirit. But there's something. So sometimes when you are carrying a big vision, there will be times where you are just rumbling. And under that rumbling, there's something. Now here we are, celebrating. But many a times you look at my status and wonder,
Absolutely. We would say you started writing this book from 1990. But we want to hear from yourself. I mean, technically, when did you start writing the book?
I think when Professor Odile started inviting me, Professor Odile has raised many people. So every time there was a wedding, she said, Chuchu, let's do the 10 tips. So that built confidence in me. She'll do 5, I do 5. And then after some time, when many of her children were getting married, now I was fast becoming a celebrity, Uncle Chuchu, giving the tips, and I started enjoying the limelight. Some weddings I wouldn't have attended, but for Maudile mentoring me, which is why I felt nobody can do the forward more than the woman who mentored me. So that built me confidence. And then Borabia, they discovered me, they invited me as a facilitator. Okabelo, they invited me. So it took a long time. It's a lifetime journey. So I think where we are now, it was just the fulfillment of something which has been there inside, building up, growing over a long period. But there's another side of it. I was saying to my wife, I think 2 days back, holding her very close to me, as we were preparing for this event, I was saying to her, baby, do you know that if you had not been performing your matrimonial duties well, I wouldn't have written a book about marriage. Who cares about marriage? So I was just holding my wife, I was just next to her. So I was just saying to her, partly, when you have a good wife, it will show. So there is the mentoring by Maudile, there is the reading of books, there is the being a lawyer, but there is the 90% having a good wife will drive you to do good things.
Yes, please, a round of applause for the good wife. Please, a round of applause for her. And a round of applause for Maudile. I don't know if she's here. The two shall become one. All right. Now let's get into a number of things that we see you doing. Where do you get the time and the energy? Sometimes we see you dancing and dancing. You know, you have the time to make music. Where do you get the time to do all these things that you do?
When he says do it, I'll do it.
Just short as that.
Yes. Otherwise, hey, can I kill a gentleman? Some of the things I do, how am I a gentleman? A lawyer with 35 years experience. I say this will go Edinburgh University and I'll take about Dr. Tono. Yeah, at my level, I expect I should be seen dancing on Facebook. So,
absolutely. Now, I think one of the nice things that I hear when we speak, you are addressing your wife as baby. You know, this word baby, growing up, I made sure my parents don't hear me mentioning this word. It feel like I'm disrespecting them somehow because I expect they mention that word when I'm not there. So I think it's one of those things when we look at you doing, when we see you doing these things, it actually inspires us to say, marriage might be nice, right? It might be something that I want to get into, right? And now, I want to tell you this, just a brief background. I won't get deep into it. But having been who I've been, there's a time I got to a point where it's like, there's so many high divorce cases. I'm now born again, but I see divorce even happening in the church. Gender-based violence, Mampus has spoken a lot on that. A lot of things that we have been, passion killings. How I thought about these things. At some point I said, I don't want to get married.
How knows?
Yes, and I believe even at this time. So now let's talk about it, Tori. Really, what is the reason behind marriage? Why should I aspire to get into marriage? Why is it a good thing to go into a risky thing called marriage if I can just be single and manage my life and not have to manage another person's life? Really, why should I get into it?
Have you read the book?
I've browsed.
I can assure you, if you read this book and finish it and you read with your heart, but watch out, because after reading the book, make sure the person next to you is the right person, because you say, please marry me quickly. I think some of these things, they are better left to you reading the book. But I can assure you, this book is provocative to your thoughts. It addresses some of your most hidden sensitivities.
I'm sure, even if you have not read it and you have heard that Nchunga Nchunga has released a book, you already know before you get into it. Let's talk also about the expectations of getting into marriage. I know we're going to get more details when we read into the book. Now I want to let's talk about, yes.
Monadi walinyalo ke gore a bona motho go teng o pastor nyalo. Monadi walinyalo ke gore tishara walinyalo la gago o mo wena. Tishara walinyalo la ke menta la ka kwala buka ke sa kgone go itumedisa kana celebrity. Lenyalo tishara walinyalo la gago ke monna ga go sa mosedi wa ga o ka reetsa monna ga kana mosedi wa ga o pasitse. That is the simplicity of it all. Tishara mo lenyalo la gago ke monna wa gago mo reetse togela bogoba. Tishara mo lenyalo la gago ke mosedi wa gago se mo tshwenye mo reetse ga o ka mo reetsa o ira se tishara mo se dire ma'am, you already have 90%. I read them good teacher. There are many things. Me how can read a teacher opposite. Because you are married to your wife. It's not about what I wrote in the book.
Yes.
The hello it's already knobs is required. What was that? The stop para get required. Like kwala buka ranna le launch. Ki face la. So read a teacher. Monna gamo kgotsa mosadi wa gago o pasitse lenyalo.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you're going to feel like you are going to reiterate something, but I want you to answer on this one. What are the takeaways? It should be our takeaways when we leave this place from yourself, from the author of the book we're here to launch.
I think my takeaway is that because you were made in the image of God, you are carrying destiny. And that destiny is huge. like I said earlier, sometimes it may not be clear. It may reflect in rumblings. But know that you are made in the image of God, and what you are carrying is